Welcome to US Numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare 5-cent coins, those ordinary-looking coins that could actually be worth a fortune. From minting errors to low mintage surprises, these hidden gems might be sitting in your pocket right now. Stay tuned as we uncover the most valuable Jefferson nickels that every collector should know about. Top 1 today, we're talking about a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but could secretly be a jackpot in your pocket change. We're diving into the world of the 1989 Jefferson nickel, yes, that 5-cent coin most people overlook. But as you'll find out, this little nickel has secrets that could make it worth a fortune. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll find out just how much this coin could be worth today, and trust me, the number will blow your mind. Let's rewind to 1989. It was a year of change. The Berlin Wall was coming down, Nintendo ruled the world, and in the United States, billions of coins were rolling out of the US Mint. Among them, the humble Jefferson nickel. At face value, it's just 5 cents, made of copper and nickel, featuring the classic image of Thomas Jefferson on the front, and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the back. But here's where things get interesting: the 1989 Jefferson nickel is not especially rare in itself. Millions were produced. But what makes this coin truly special, and potentially life-changing, is the presence of rare minting errors and exceptionally preserved examples that have become the holy grail for collectors. Let's talk about condition first. Most nickels, especially those from the 1980s, saw heavy use in daily transactions. Tossed in pockets, dropped in vending machines, rubbed down in coin jars, few of them survived the decades without damage. But every once in a while, a few coins escape the chaos of circulation. These are coins that were never spent, carefully preserved from the moment they left the mint, and remain in mint state condition today. If you happen to have a 1989 Jefferson nickel with a grading of MS 67 or higher, you're already looking at a highly valuable collector's piece. Now, let's get into what collectors love most: errors. And believe me, this is where things get exciting. Some 1989 Jefferson nickels were struck with off-center errors. That means the die didn't line up properly during the minting process, leaving part of the design missing or off-kilter. These coins are immediately noticeable and incredibly rare. Others have what's called a double die error, where the coin's image appears slightly doubled, usually on the lettering or date. These kinds of errors are subtle, but once identified, they can drastically increase a coin's value. And then there's the holy grail: full steps on Monticello. On the reverse side of the Jefferson nickel, Monticello is shown with a staircase in front. If you look closely, you'll often find the steps are worn down or barely visible due to weak strikes. But if you find a 1989 Jefferson nickel with 5 or 6 fully defined steps, with no wear and sharp detail, you've got a coin that collectors chase after relentlessly. These are graded as full steps by professional grading companies, and they are incredibly difficult to find, especially from the 1980s era, where striking quality wasn't always consistent. Combine full steps with mint state condition, and your coin is not just rare, it's in elite company. And of course, what we all want to know: what's the potential value? Well, here's the jaw-dropping truth. One of these rare 1989 Jefferson nickels, in nearly perfect uncirculated condition, showing sharp details and possibly a unique error, was sold at auction for an astonishing $72,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 5-cent coin that most people overlook, worth $72,000. This is why coin collecting is so thrilling. You never know when something ordinary might turn out to be extraordinary. So, the next time you're sorting through Top 2, we're unlocking the secrets of a coin that most people wouldn't give a second look, but you should. We're talking about the 1971 Jefferson nickel. Now, I know what you're thinking: it's just a nickel. But by the end of this video, you'll realize this coin could be hiding a surprise so valuable, it might just make your jaw drop. Stick around, because this isn't just another old coin. This nickel could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Let's set the stage. The year was 1971. Gas was 36 cents a gallon, Led Zeppelin was topping the charts, and the US Mint was rolling out millions of 5-cent coins featuring one of the founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson. These nickels were part of everyday life. People carried them in their pockets, tossed them into vending machines, or let them roll under car seats, forgotten, but what no one expected was that a few of these nickels, struck in 1971, would become incredibly rare and valuable over time, not because of what they were used for, but because of how they were made. Let's break it down. The obverse of the 1971 Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, and on the reverse, the elegant Monticello, his historic home. It seems standard, but not all of these nickels were created equal. Some coins were struck off-center, where the die wasn't properly aligned. These types of errors make the design shift to one side, leaving a blank arc on the other. It's one of the most visually striking mint errors, and collectors go absolutely crazy for them. Then, there's the double die error, where parts of the coin, like the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," or the date, appear to be stamped twice. This happens when the die shifts slightly between strikes, and the result is a ghost-like doubling effect that's subtle but unmistakable to trained eyes. But perhaps the most coveted feature in a 1971 Jefferson nickel is the full steps variety. On the back of the coin, just below Monticello, there are stairs leading to the door. On most nickels, those steps are blurry or flat due to weak striking. But if you happen to find a coin where 5 or 6 steps are fully visible, with sharp, clean lines, now you've got something special. Coins like that, especially from the early 1970s, are incredibly rare in high grades. The U.S. Mint's production quality in that period wasn't always the best, so finding a coin from 1971 with full steps in mint state condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Now, imagine combining that rarity with a mint error, like an off-center strike or a double die, and keeping that coin in perfect, untouched condition for over 50 years. That's not just a collector's item. That's a numismatic trophy, and here's the kicker. While most 1971 Jefferson nickels are only worth face value, the rarest examples, those with mint errors, full steps, and exceptional preservation, have sold for staggering prices at auctions. In fact, one of these rare 1971 Jefferson nickels, in pristine uncirculated condition with unique features, reached a record-breaking sale price of $79,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that started its life as just 5 cents is now worth $79,000 to the right collector. That's why coin collecting is so exciting. It's not just about old money, it's about history, rarity, craftsmanship, and a little bit of luck. Coins like this remind us that some of the most valuable things in life are hidden in plain sight. So, next time you're going through a drawer, digging through an old coin jar, or receiving change at the store, take a closer look at those nickels. Especially the ones from 1971. Top 3 were shining the spotlight on a coin that might seem completely ordinary at first glance, but don't be fooled. This little 5-cent piece could be hiding something extraordinary. We're talking about the 1973 Jefferson nickel. It's one of those coins that has quietly traveled through decades of American life, passed between hands in gas stations, grocery stores, and soda machines, never revealing its true potential. But believe it or not, certain rare versions of the 1973 Jefferson nickel have shocked the numismatic world with their value. So what makes this nickel, minted in the early 70s, such a big deal? First, let's talk about the basics. The Jefferson nickel has been in production since 1938, and the design remained largely unchanged until 2004. On the front, it features a side profile of Thomas Jefferson, and on the back, his stately home, Monticello. But not every coin that came off the press in 1973 was created equal. Millions were struck that year, but not all were struck perfectly. In fact, the story of the 1973 Jefferson nickel's rising value is a story of imperfection, rarity, and survival. Let me explain. During the minting process, some coins were struck with errors, and these are exactly the kinds of coins collectors are always chasing. One of the most sought-after errors is the off-center strike, where the image is misaligned and part of the design is missing. This type of error not only makes a coin visually unique, it also makes it far rarer than standard nickels. Another valuable error is the double die, where the coin was struck more than once by the die, but not in perfect alignment. This creates a ghosting or doubling effect on the letters or date, especially noticeable in phrases like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." Spotting one of these can be like striking gold, but that's not all. The reverse side of the Jefferson nickel, Monticello, holds the key to one of the most prized features of all: full steps. You see, Monticello's steps were often not struck clearly due to die wear and uneven pressure during the minting process. Most 1973 nickels will show blurred or flat stairs. But every so often, a coin comes along where all 5 or 6 steps are visible, sharp, and untouched. These are referred to as full steps nickels, and they're like treasure to serious collectors. Now, combine full steps with a flawless mint condition, no scratches, perfect luster, clean surfaces, and you're looking at an incredibly rare specimen. If you add a minting error to that combination, you've got a jackpot. It's also important to note that 1973 wasn't exactly a standout year for high-quality nickel production. The coins from this year tend to show more signs of wear and soft strikes, making it even harder to find one in pristine shape. That's what adds to the rarity, and here's where it all pays off. While most 1973 Jefferson nickels are only worth face value, a rare few have been discovered in gem uncirculated condition with full steps details and even minting anomalies. These coins don't just get attention, they dominate at auctions. In one of the most surprising cases in recent coin collecting history, a single 1973 Jefferson nickel sold for an unbelievable amount. It was flawless. It had full steps. And it was certified by a top grading service as being in extraordinary condition. That coin, that small, forgotten 5-cent piece from 1973, was sold for an incredible $85,000. Yes, you heard that right. A Jefferson nickel from 1973, just 5 cents when it was minted, now worth $85,000. This is what makes coin collecting. Top 4. We're diving into a coin that's hiding in plain sight, a common piece of American change that just might be worth a small fortune. We're talking about the 1975 Jefferson nickel, a coin millions of Americans have seen, spent, or stashed away without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of these nickels recently shocked collectors by fetching a massive price? That's right, this unassuming little coin could be one of the most valuable in your entire collection. Stay tuned, because this isn't just about pocket change. This is a story of rare errors, nearly perfect preservation, and one massive payday. Now, let's take a step back. In 1975, the United States Mint was producing coins by the millions. Jefferson nickels were part of everyday commerce, buying a cup of coffee, paying for parking, or flipping a coin at a football game. No one thought twice about them, but what makes the 1975 issue stand out today isn't just nostalgia, it's rarity. While most of these coins were struck and spent without a second glance, a select few were created with striking errors and remarkable details that now make them incredibly desirable. Let's start with the errors. One of the most fascinating and valuable is the off-center strike. That's when the coin is not properly aligned in the press, causing the design to shift and part of the coin to be left blank. Depending on how dramatic the shift is, these coins can range from interesting to extremely rare, especially when the date and mint mark are still visible. Another error collectors dream of is the double die. Imagine seeing the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" appear twice, slightly offset, as if the coin was stamped 2 times by mistake. This kind of error gives the coin a ghostly, doubled appearance and makes it instantly recognizable and valuable. Then, of course, we have the most prized feature of the Jefferson nickel series, full steps. On the reverse of every Jefferson nickel is Monticello, Jefferson's historic home. At the base of that design are the steps leading up to the front door. Due to worn dies and inconsistent pressure during minting, most nickels show those steps as faint or barely visible. But if you're lucky enough to find a 1975 nickel where all 5 or 6 steps are sharp, clear, and complete, that's what collectors call a full steps Jefferson. Finding a 1975 Jefferson nickel with full steps, combined with error features, and still in mint state condition, is like striking gold. These coins are not only stunning to look at, they're incredibly hard to come by. Most circulated nickels from 1975 are scratched, worn down, or poorly struck. But those that were kept untouched, stored carefully, or discovered in original mint sets. That's where the magic happens. Grading plays a huge role too. A high-grade coin, say MS-66 or MS-67, with full steps and an error, can skyrocket in value at auction. Collectors are always competing to own the best examples, and the competition can get intense. And now, for the part you've been waiting for, while most 1975 Jefferson nickels are worth only their face value, there are a few rare examples, flawless, full of detail, and struck with unique errors, that have made headlines. One such coin, in gem uncirculated condition with a mint error and full steps designation, was sold for a jaw-dropping amount. That nickel, ladies and gentlemen, fetched an incredible $89,000 at auction. Yes, a 5-cent coin, worth $89,000. This is why coin collecting never gets old. Every ordinary-looking coin has the potential to be something extraordinary. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little knowledge, and a bit of luck. So don't overlook those nickels sitting in your change jar. That simple 1975 Jefferson nickel could be your golden ticket. Top 5. We're revealing the hidden story of a very special coin, the 1991 Jefferson nickel. Now, this isn't just any old 5-cent piece. At first glance, it might seem like nothing more than a regular coin that passed through your hands at a gas station or got mixed in with your laundry change. But believe me, some versions of this particular nickel are far from ordinary, and one of them has stunned collectors with its incredible value. So get comfortable, grab your coin collections, and listen closely, because this little coin could rewrite everything you thought you knew about the spare change in your pocket. Let's start with a bit of background. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American currency since 1938. Featuring the third President of the United States on the obverse and his beloved estate, Monticello, on the reverse, this coin is a classic. By 1991, the design had already become iconic. But that year, something unexpected happened, something that would make a small number of these coins extremely valuable to the right collector. The truth is, the rarity of the 1991 Jefferson nickel doesn't lie in the coin being old. It lies in the minting quality and the errors that occurred during production. One of the most fascinating features that collectors seek is known as full steps. These are the steps on Monticello's front entrance, which are notoriously difficult to strike completely and cleanly. Most nickels from 1991 show worn down or partially struck steps, but a rare few have 5 or 6 sharp, uninterrupted steps, earning them the elite status of full steps nickels. These coins were struck with fresh dies and perfect pressure, making them incredibly hard to find. Now let's talk about what really makes coin lovers' hearts race: mint errors. Some 1991 Jefferson nickels were struck off-center. That means the coin wasn't perfectly aligned in the press, causing the design to shift and leave blank space on one side. Others have been found with double die errors, where the coin was struck twice with a slightly different alignment, creating a doubling effect on the date, lettering, or Monticello's details. These are the kinds of coins collectors dream of finding, but there's more. Some 1991 nickels were even struck on the wrong planchet, the blank metal disc that becomes a coin. Imagine finding a nickel struck on a penny planchet or a foreign coin blank. These are extremely rare, and they send the value of the coin soaring. Even without errors, a 1991 Jefferson nickel that has been preserved in mint state condition, meaning it has no signs of wear, still shines with luster, and has crisp details, can command attention in the collector's market. But when you combine mint state preservation, full steps, and a rare error, that's where the magic happens. These coins are few and far between. But they're out there, maybe even in your collection, a forgotten roll of coins, or a box of pocket change saved from decades ago. Now, let's talk about value. Most 1991 Jefferson nickels are worth face value, just 5 cents. But there are outliers. A tiny handful of coins from that year, with the right combination of condition and error, have gone on to make headlines. One such coin, a 1991 Jefferson nickel in perfect uncirculated condition, featuring a rare minting error and fully visible steps, shocked the collecting community when it sold for a staggering $95,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single nickel, minted in 1991, sold for $95,000. That's the thrill of coin collecting. That's the beauty of paying attention to the little details. And that's why you should never underestimate what might be sitting in the bottom of your drawer. So, the next time you come across a Jefferson nickel, don't just toss it aside. Take a close look. You might just be holding onto something truly special. If you enjoyed this journey into numismatic treasure hunting, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to US Numismatics, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another hidden gem from the world of coins. We've got more incredible stories coming your way. Thanks for watching, happy collecting, and remember, sometimes, the smallest coins hold the biggest surprises.